So, riddle me this. How many generations does it take to change the world? 10, 100, 1,000 generations? No, just one. If your heart has a pulse and your lungs have air, and you are under the sound of my voice right now, then your generation is the one to change the world. I have a story to tell. And it's a story about two kings, an old king and a young king. The old king represents foundation. The old king represents a straight path that was paved for future generations. And the young king, he represents a movement. He represents a march down the paved road, the beginning of new beginnings. One day the two kings meet each other on the battlefield, and together they fought against an army of giants. Together they fought against an army of principalities, an army of afflictions, a dead way of living. They fought against legion. And as the fierce war was being waged, the old king, being the most experienced, began slaying the giants left and right. But the young king, although physically capable, physically able, and physically stronger than the old, was quickly overwhelmed, being unfamiliar with his enemies. The young king became exhausted, fatigued, and soon he would succumb to the unrelenting forces of the enemy. Nearing his end, the young king looks to the old king and sees the old king covered in wounds, bleeding out, his armor cracked and his legs weak, yet the giants continue to fall at his feet. Amazed at the old king's resilience, the young king calls out to him and asks, "What's the point in us fighting if we can't even stand?" And in reply, the old king simply says, "I know you're only a cub right now, but in the face of the enemy, young lion, don't flinch." He told him that a lion fights many battles. A lion has many scars. A lion endures much pain, but pain is only a means of stopping you from progressing forward. The illusion of limitations. Pain only tells you that you're not dead and that there is still much to do. Pain is just another giant standing in front of you, but these giants don't realize who they're speaking to, how strong we are, what these hearts been through, the sound of our lives when the fire consumes and the violent taketh by force what we were meant to do. This is the proof, because no matter how high the climb or quick the time is, the clock will never be able to measure our distance, even if these giants don't listen. We were christened with a seal that partitions us from a system that wished to see these visions caged up like prison. But what they don't understand is that our hope is risen with love unconditioned, and we are the only kings in this castle, the only lions in this jungle, and our roars sound like oceans breaking through a seawall, like tsunamis without category. Legions may rise, but our footsteps are earthquakes and our voices are a hurricane. There's a war coming that no gun can stop. Nobody's dropped, but fire will rain to break every chain, and every idol must come down. Every great wall shall be shattered, because when you wear the kingdom's crown, all can be overcome when these hearts become undone. But in order to gain, sometimes there must be pain. So on days when there are more clouds in the sky than sun, make your passion the lightning until bright days come. And if by chance the rain falls harder, remember that you are sons and daughters of the only one who is unable to falter. Light for the lost, bears the cross, tore the veil when he ripped the cloth, bled out for the wretched, went to hell to challenge death, gave his all to nothing left, gave his heart so he could bless. 39 lashes and ripped flesh 100% and nothing less. Man, these giants don't realize who they're speaking to, because they've obviously forgotten who we really belong to. So remind them. Look them in the eye like a lion before a fight. Kings don't flinch, they march. You are the generation. So would you like to know how the story ends? Finally, the young king finds his strength, and as he grows, the giants, they begin to sink. Although he was on the brink of death, the best came when passion flowed through his veins. His eyes took their aim, set his sights on the King of Kings. Now the young king is the old king, and we are the offspring, and we don't stand on foundation that's weak. Sometimes our heels don't even touch the street, so the only giants that we see are the ones beneath our feet. So it doesn't matter if you feel the time is wrong. Elohim controls the rotation of the earth. My God lives outside of time zones. So no mountain too high, nor ocean too vast. We cast our hearts like sails from the shore, swim right to God's heart. It is an open door, and it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.